I am reconnecting with my mom. For Until recently, whenever I would confront her about the past and try to make progress on our relationship, I'd say that and I would talk about how her actions hurt me or how what she did was terrible and unforgivable, and she would say sorry and she would take responsibility for it and she would say really nice things, but I would just discount it and I would disregard it and think that she's just saying whatever she thinks I want to hear to move the relationship forward, and I just wasn't taking it. And it wasn't until I had had a few beers with my friends and she said something insensitive and I reacted emotionally and I got angry. And she said that my emotional reaction triggered her PTSD, that even though she knew that I was not going to hit her, because I'm not a violent man, she was still teleported back to her past with her dad, and that got to me. So I promised her that I would never drink around her again, and then later that promise expanded to never drink, because enough people told me that I'm a real asshole when I'm drunk. Well, well, okay, can't argue with. Well, I can disregard 2 people once like 6 people say it. Well, that's enough. But after that event with my friend, the next time I was calling my mom, I said that she was using her church charity in the same way that her ex-husband, my father, uses his church charity to make himself feel better. That, oh no, everything that my ex-wife says about me is total nonsense. I didn't hit my kids. I didn't molest my kids. I didn't steal money from my family. No! See, look at all these homeless people whom I'm feeding. Look at how good of a person I am. Well, she does a lot of charity work at her church. And you know who else does a lot of charity work through churches? I do a lot of charity work through churches. Well, she, when I was comparing her to her ex-husband, my father, she threw it back at me and she said, well, you know what? I kicked you out of my house because you were starting to act like your father, and you would get emotional and you would no longer listen to any reason that anybody said, and you would, a few times backed her into corners physically and was yelling and being like my dad. And well, I can't, fuck. When my dad organizes a soup kitchen for homeless people, the people that he feeds, they don't know that he was abusive in every way to his entire family. They don't realize that he's all the things he is. But similarly, when I... Nice. Similarly, when I am playing with some kid in the pediatrics ward at one of the hospitals I volunteer at, that kid probably doesn't ask himself, wow, is this guy an alcoholic? Wow, does this guy have experience in self-harm? No, they just say, haha, look at the clown doing origami for... This place is fucking sick. In the child's mind, I'm none of those things. I'm just a friend that they like to play with. Wow, this is creepy. I need a flashlight. I need to come back down here. This place is cool. And when my mom, she organized a dinner. I assume she does it many Christmases. I'm assuming she does it most Christmases. She organized a dinner that I want to repeat because I've been alone on Christmas and it sucks. And I was there for somebody who was alone on Christmas, and just being a friend to them, I know, was enough to prevent her from self-harming. And I want to do that. But when those people that went to her dinner, they probably don't know that she was as terrible of a mother as she was, but to them, that doesn't matter. Oh, geez, here we go. This will be fun. Oh, that's a spider. Nice. I'm taking a clown class at the university, and it's awesome. The lesson, the first two lessons of this current clown class was the same as a lot of the things that they said in the class that I took to volunteer with an unrelated, they're two different groups, they're two different classes, two different people, two different teachers, but they both taught the same thing in the first lesson. Let go of your fear of being judged and like embarrassing and weird, and just be your truest self. Stop wearing all the masks that you would normally wear during your day-to-day normal life, like, I'm a respectable adult, I make money, I dress nicely, I pay taxes. Just let go of all that, because if you don't let go of that, you're not going to be a good clown. Well, I heard a quote from Jim Carrey that after his decades and decades of acting, he doesn't really think of himself like as having his own personality, but instead, whenever he takes on a role, it's like he's taken on that person and that existence. That makes me think that, like, that reminds me of the quote, you can't step in the same river twice because it's not the same river and you're not the same you. That maybe, like, a person should be judged by their actions and the fruits of their actions, and maybe a little bit of their intentions, but mostly the actions. I mean, balance it with the intentions, but like, then you're opening kind of a philosophical can of worms that don't know if I'm ready to answer yet. Okay, so a person told me that there were a bunch of underground tunnels at this abandoned place, and that a lot of them were full of water, but they're not good for swimming. But I brought my mask. I brought my dive mask, but I'm not jumping in that water because that's disgusting. I need to get a lamp because I want to explore those tunnels that I was in a moment ago. And it would be cool to get some kind of protective wetsuit to be able to swim in the flooded tunnels too, because they are beautiful, very dirty, very infected. I would definitely get some kind of infection. Yeah. This year, more than any other year, I've been reflecting a lot more. Since I stopped drinking, people like me a lot more. It annoys me that it was really that simple, that I was as alone as I was and nobody liked me just because I was drinking too much. Is that really it? Is it really that simple? It is really that simple. And now that I'm not drinking, I've been making a lot more friends. I am lost. And I don't feel like going through there because I could go through there, but I would really mess up my legs because I'm wearing shorts. I should have worn pants.